Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? The meeting is starting now. Sorry for the delay. What is a good webinar without some nice technology malfunctions and so on, right? So welcome all. Apologies for the 5-minute delay. We have a very, very good and interactive webinar for you today. This webinar is going to be on ISWA's road to COP29 and COP30, which will be next year. And we will speak about our key messages and the declaration, the climate declaration that ISWA has been working on, and the messages that we are carrying forward to the COP29 that's going to happen next month in Baku, Azerbaijan. I'm Aditi Ramola from ISWA, and I'm so happy to see a lot of familiar faces and a lot of you here today with us. And Kelly is showing the screen. Perfect. Thank you so much. If you move to the next screen, Kelly. Essentially, I just want to give you a brief introduction to what ISWA is. I think most of you that I see here are already members, so I'm happy to see you again. But for those of you who are new, ISWA is a global independent and non-profit association headquartered in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. And we are dedicated to promoting sustainable and professional waste management globally and advancing also a transition to a circular economy. We have members from over 100 countries, I would say about 110 now, and we include individuals, organizations, companies, anyone that's interested in working in the sector of waste and resource management. We represent them, and they're all our members as well. As you know, and you must be, seeing the news all over, the world is facing what the UN, what the United Nations is calling a triple planetary crisis of climate change, biodiversity loss, pollution, and sound waste management is fortunately or unfortunately bang in the middle of it, right in the center of it. So in this webinar, we're going to delve a little bit into the link between sound waste management and climate change, highlighting how poor waste management can contribute significantly to greenhouse gas emissions, and also showing the fact that ISWA, or the International Solid Waste Association, is very committed to bringing the voice of the sector, of the waste and resource management sector, to the COPs, to the Conference of the Parties of UNFCCC or of CBD or any other big UN convention that's talking about these issues. So one of the things that we're going to talk about and hear from our experts is that waste management or sound waste management presents a very unique opportunity to mitigate anywhere between 15 to 25% of global greenhouse gas emissions or global greenhouse anthropogenic greenhouse gas emissions. And if we move into circular approaches, when we talk about sound organic waste management and so on, we can play, or our sector can play, a very crucial role in combating the triple planetary crisis. And so we are advocating for a global strategy to decouple waste generation from economic growth, that you would have seen these key messages in the recently produced Global Waste Management Outlook 2024. And we also talk about long-term sustainable financing models that you would have seen us talk about at different events across the globe that we have been conducting through webinars or sessions and so on. So without further ado, we're going to be joined today by experts from all around the globe. We will have ISWA's president, James Law, joining us from the US, quite early out there, kicking off the webinar. It's going to be followed by a short presentation by Peter Simoes, who's the chair of our working group on climate change and waste management. He's going to be joining us from the Netherlands. Then we are going to have a small panel discussion where we encourage you to pop in your questions at any time into the chat windows. Here we'll be joined by our immediate past president, Carlos Silva Filho, joining us from Brazil, and Dr. Liu Zhao from China, and Peter Simoes again from the Netherlands. So as I said, we are open to all your questions, and please feel free to put them in the chat box. Since this is a very limited time frame, we have about 55 to 60 minutes to discuss. We will take all your questions and hopefully address them in some parts via email or through other webinars in the following months. So without too much delay now, I would like to welcome on screen our President James, and he can please start off the webinar for us. Before that, just to go to the next two slides, I just want to quickly show you if you move to the next slide, Kelly. It's essentially the climate declaration, which you can find on our website, on our newsletters as well. So it's just a 3-pager. If you move to the next slide as well, there are a few key messages that we are taking with us to COP, and we refine these every year as we get feedback from people like yourselves, members of ours, and so on and so forth. So without further ado, I'm now going to pass it over to James, and then we'll come back for the panel discussion. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today at this important webinar on ISWA's road to COP29 and beyond. We are now at a critical time for our planet. The United Nations calls it as a triple planetary crisis, which is climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. 3 interconnected crises that are putting unprecedented pressure on the health of our planet and ecosystem and community we live in. What connects this crisis together is one crucial issue that is too often overlooked, which is waste management. In this seminar, webinar, we are exploring the direct connection between waste management and climate change, and why addressing waste is essential if we are going to meet the global targets set out by the Paris Agreement. We know that poor waste management, particularly open burning, dumping, as well as improper disposal of organic waste, contributes significantly to global greenhouse gas emissions. Yet, despite this, waste and resource management is not adequately represented in global climate strategies. This must change. At ISWA, we are committed to amplifying the voice of the waste and resource management sector in global climate processes. Our focus is on ensuring that decision makers understand that integrating waste and resource management into their national policy is not just an option, it is an imperative. We believe that through effective waste management, we can significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions, combat air pollution, and protect biodiversity, moving the world toward a circular and sustainable economy. ISWA's primary objective in our involvement in the COP process is to call on global leaders to recognize that waste and resource management is a key sector in the fight against climate change. Through our presence at COP events, hosting site events, as well as the Waste and Resource Pavilion, we strive to ensure that our sector's message is heard, which is the waste management sector must be central in achieving climate targets. Today, our call for to action on climate change today, as we prepare for COP28, is simple but urgent. We call on decision makers worldwide to incorporate waste and resource management into their nationally determined contributions. And so as we look ahead of COP29, there are several areas that we believe we should consider in the NDCs. First is circular waste resource management. Second is organic waste management. And third, global waste resource management goals. And the fourth is financing models. The shift to circular economy. Sorry, my alarm went off. Depend on aligned product standards and pricing so that secondary raw material can compete with primary resources. We need new economic models and financial mechanism to drive this transition. In conclusion, ISWA's engagement at the COP29 reflects our firm commitment to driving the waste management sector toward a sustainable and circular futures. We welcome you to work together with us at ISWA to ensure waste management is recognized as a central pillars of climate action and move toward to achieving our shared goals of a low carbon sustainable future. Thank you, and I wish you all a good webinar.
Thank you so much, James, for kicking us off. Really appreciate that. And I hope people got a flavor of what we are trying to say at the pavilion and also our climate declaration. Before we move on to the panel discussion, I invite Peter Simoes, chair of our working group on climate change and waste management, to quickly give us an overview of what we do in our working group and invite all of you to join us as well. Over to you, Peter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aditi. Yes, I can give an introduction of our working group, but before I do that, yes, Aditi also mentioned that I am the chair of this working group, but I don't do this alone. I have also a vice chair, that's Anja Swetsche from UBA, and we do that, of course, also together with Aditi, who is do a lot of coordination work in our working group. Yeah, our working group, I think we are already over 100 members in our working group, and you can see that the topic climate change is high on the agenda of all the members within ISWA. We can see that at the growth of our working group. Our members, the background of our members, we have persons from with a science background, do a lot of research at universities. We have companies, we have also the associations and other organizations. So that's a wide variety of persons who joined our working group. If we talk about climate change, within ISWA there are 10 working groups, and these 10 working groups are all focusing on a specific waste management or resource topic. But what you can see in all the working group is that climate change is always on the agenda. So why do we have then a special working group on climate change? And that is more to showcase also all these topics at the relevant podia worldwide. So that's one of the things that we do as a working group. You can find us on several relevant podia worldwide. We are present at IFET, Ecomondo, regional conferences, and of course at the World Congress, and especially, and that's also the topic today, at the COP meetings. What do we do more as a working group? We have at least 2 meetings a year, and in these meetings we discuss with our members all the developments on what we see related to climate change. There's a lot of exchange of knowledge. We talk about some practices worldwide, successful projects worldwide. We have, of course, several specialists working on the modeling and the greenhouse calculations. And they can be used also by the other working groups to assist them to make to complete their projects. Another role that we do is that we work on papers, and we produce sometimes themselves papers, but also our partners or members are doing these, and then we bring in also the specialists. And of course, what's very relevant, as you also can see at the podium at COP, is that there are a lot of partner organizations, where we have partnerships with ISWA with the other organizations such as the UNFCCC. I think that's what we do in our working group. I just looked at the list of participants today. If you're not a member yet, please contact us, and you're welcome to join. That's it for now, Aditi.
Thank you so much, Peter. That's fantastic input to our group, and we both are very much active. So if anybody's interested, please reach out to both of us. Now I'm going to actually start just the question and answer session and a little bit of a panel discussion here. We are waiting for one of our speakers to join, but since Peter, you had the first word on ISWA's involvement and our working group, I'd like you to also just briefly address how we as ISWA can encourage active participation from members who are, of course, ISWA members, but not our working group members, but also the wider community. How are you going to actively ask people to contribute? And this leading up to Baku, what's going to be the format and beyond as well, because we're talking about a road to COP. And if you see the title of our webinar, it's not Road to COP29 or Road to COP30, but it's just our general road to the COPs of UNFCCC. So back to you, Peter, again.
Yes, thank you, Aditi. Yes, yeah, I think it's good also to see where we are coming from as ISWA, because especially when you talk about COP sessions, waste was not very high on the agenda up till I think 2015, 2016, where ISWA for the first time was present at the COP. I don't know exactly where it was, but I think somewhere in Glasgow or maybe. I don't know exactly, but what you can see since then is that ISWA has built up its position within COP quite strongly, and is also in the position that they are, as James and maybe and you also said it, is more the voice of the waste and resources sector, and also seen by all the other organizations as this. As an important partner to discuss with if it concerns waste and resources. That's a very good position. And the question was, how do we involve our members? That's also what we do in this road to COP. And the road to COP means that at first, you have to make sure that you are there. So you have to secure your spot more or less at the COP. We succeeded in that. And of course, we are also asking our members what should be the what should be spoken, or what should be sorry, I can't find the word, but what we do is we prepare the topic to bring in at a certain COP, because every COP is different. It's hosted by another country. You see also that they have more or less an angle that they choose for a COP, what is important at that moment. And then we are looking what can we do from ISWA to also to support that or to contribute to that topic. So also this year, and then we start more or less from ISWA and also from our working group with drafting a declaration where we have and every year we prepare a new declaration or a revised declaration where we focus on certain points that we bring in at the COP. Also this year, and including our members, what we do is we have, of course, our World Congress. It's quite convenient. It's always 2-3 months before the COP. That's also the moment where we more or less kick off the preparation to the COP. And and there's also where this declaration is brought to the members and finalized more or less. And based on that declaration, we are also looking at the program at COP. It's not only, if we are at COP, we are not only there to walk around and talk to as much people as possible to spread the word from ISWA. No, we have a really active role at ISWA. Also this year, we succeeded again to have a pavilion at the COP. Of course, you know that the COP is in Baku. It's slightly smaller than last year because last year was really a huge COP in Dubai. And yeah, it's a little bit smaller. We're now in Baku, but we have a pavilion, and at this pavilion we will have an ISWA program running. And that means that every day during the COP there will be a session organized by ISWA. There will be some networking events, maybe some lunch or other topics or other types of events organized at our pavilion to discuss all the different topics of ISWA. Also this year, we're now in the phase that we are preparing our program, and it means that every day we will have a session. And this session is also in relation at the theme of the day at COP. Every day at COP, we have there is a certain theme. It could be something like youth or energy or justice or and we try to match that with an interesting program also that is related with the theme of the day. So also this time we will be at COP from ISWA perspective around with some 8 people, I think, during the 2 weeks, not all together there, but and we will run this program, and by preparing this program, we would like to include as much members as possible. We're reaching out to members not only from our own working group, but from all the ISWA members who are also in other working groups, that if they want to participate in our program, they're welcome. Of course, we should see if this is also from a practical side possible, but that's what we do. The pavilion is also there. It's not used complete day. If our members want to use our pavilion, that's also possible, and they can do an own program, a company presentation or whatever. So if there are any persons listening today and say, oh, that might be interesting for us or for our organization, please contact us. You can contact me or Aditi or the ISWA staff, and we can see what can be done. Is there more to say about the? No, in the road to COP, this webinar is part of more or less, I can call it a little bit a roadshow, but on all the events coming months, we will reach out to people, to our members, but also to our important partners to see if we can work together to present ISWA and to bring the sound of ISWA at COP. So I think this is the third one, but there will be more events where we will address our message at COP.
Thank you, Peter. That was a comprehensive answer, and I hope people will start reaching out to us, pitching for a session at our pavilion.
Yeah, maybe I saw already the question in are we in the green zone? Yes, this time we are in the green zone. That is an advantage, of course, if you because normally all the negotiations are in the blue zone. Then you need an accreditation from the UN. That is sometimes quite difficult. But you can see also that here in Baku, it is a smaller COP than, for example, last year, so that there are a limited amount of blue zone registrations allowed. So that's why we decided also from ISWA perspective to be in the green zone, and the green zone is accessible for everybody. So.
Thank you, Peter. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to bring in Zhao to the discussion. Zhao, you are joining us from China today, and none of ISWA success can be without our partners. And so I would like for you to mention how you think ISWA can leverage its expertise to foster this kind of a collaborative spirit and a dialogue with different stakeholders within the circular economy domain and drive this action towards better waste management and combat climate change. You've been involved in a lot of projects and also some of our working groups. So back to you.
Thank you, Aditi. And also, it's so nice for me to have this chance to join this meeting. And this is Liu Xiao from the China Association of the Urban Environment Sanitation, and which we also, as a national member representing China in ISWA. And from my side, I think I will share some of the experience, especially as we are the national member. So I think there are several points maybe I want to emphasize. The first one is that I have to say this kind of the clear positions or the declarations we have just published for the COP29 is quite important because we all know that especially for ISWA, we have so strong networks and we have so many different members. We representing different developing places, and also we all have our own developing characteristics in different areas. But this kind of the common conscience sometimes is really quite important for us. Especially from my side, I think I also have involved in several of the international projects in China, and we all know that during the national level or during the negotiation or when we're doing this kind of the policy advisement, we all know that the climate change is quite important, and the waste management can contribute a lot, especially for circular economy. If we can really achieving it, it will be one of the most important part for combating the climate change. But when we really further connected with our stakeholders in China, like the waste management companies, or especially with some other like the local cities or counties, I think this kind of the concept is not really so clear for them. So maybe we always mention that the carbon peak, carbon neutrality is important, and we all want to combat the climate change. But actually, for the national stakeholders, they need this kind of the clear attitude and clear concept to tell them that the waste management is really contribute to this topic. And if we can have even more clear the position to tell them how much, if we're doing what kind of the actions, and then we can achieve which amount of the reduction amount, then maybe this will be more helpful. So I have to say that from our side, when we join the ISWA network, and this kind of the clear positions really help us a lot. And we also, every time we will try to translate it into Chinese and also to publish on our website to show that waste management really we contribute a lot. And then I have to also want to mention that actually different countries, especially when we putting like China into this whole international network, we can see that different countries or different areas, we all have different solutions. So this kind of the comparison or discussion or exchange, I think is really quite important. Especially, I have to say, for this kind of the webinars or exchange meetings, and this kind of the networks established by ISWA will be quite important. And I have to say that after the this year's World Congress, actually, for our CAUES, we also established a lot of the different connections with other national members. And we think that for different countries, the lesson learned or experiences when we're doing this kind of exchange is quite helpful for us, because some process maybe we have been go through, and which can encourage other countries, and also we are always learn from the developed countries to learn how to further make the integrated waste management. So I have to say this kind of exchange also quite important, and we think in the future also for China, maybe if we have chances, we also want to try to set up this kind of the links and to support on this kind of the events or meetings or this kind of the activities, and I think that will be quite helpful. So then For the last point, I think I have to say if ISWA we really can doing more on this kind of the awareness raising and also capacity building. I think this is also one of the key points when we really want to really promote or to make this happen. So a lot of the activities or dialogues or partnerships can be established during this kind of activities. So I always because personally I also involved in a lot of this kind of international projects, I have to say reach the consensus or we agree with each other on this kind of attitude of positions is quite important, and it is not so easy. So I have to say if we can do more on the awareness raising and capacity building will be maybe I think will be have better promotions on this kind of action. So these are something maybe I want to share with you.
Thank you so much, Zhao. We are looking forward to having one of the congresses in China, and you've already started discussing that. And so, yeah, absolutely well taken on the point on capacity building, awareness raising, and so on. We'll be in touch with you about that one. And I see that we also have Carlos, our immediate past president, joining us. So if we can highlight all four of us here, I don't know how the technology is working, how you're seeing the screen. But yeah, if Carlos is in here, it would be great, Carlos, because we developed this, it's been months with the working group on climate change, the board, the STC, to develop this climate declaration, ISWA's climate declaration, which was then endorsed. And of course, we got it approved by the General Assembly. So if you know it very well, we've really highlighted the importance of integrated waste and resource management. And also we highlight the fact that they should be put into our NDCs, or the nationally determined contribution should highlight the role of waste management. So how do you think countries can be encouraged to prioritize this and prioritize waste management as a climate mitigation strategy within their NDCs? And if you can just also throw light to the fact that these NDCs are absolutely not committal till the money or till some conditions can be met, right? So what is your opinion on all of this? And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Aditi. Can you hear me well? Oh, good.
Yes.
Good. Thank you. Hi, everybody. It's great to join you for this webinar today. I apologize for this background scenario, but I am at the airport. I had a delayed flight, but I couldn't miss to join this webinar with all of you today. And thank you, Aditi, for the question. And it's great to listen from James, Peter, and Xiao about the excitement to be at this next COP in Baku, in Azerbaijan. Just a recap, because last year we had to Dubai with the first ever waste and resources management pavilion. And it was the first time the waste industry was officially present at a COP with a pavilion to raise the awareness about the importance of sound waste management and sound resources management towards climate mitigation. And I feel very proud of being there with many partners, with many supporters, in order to raise our voice. During 2 weeks of COP in Dubai, we've been able to connect and discuss about this potential and about the way forward. So this year, I would like to highlight that it's a continuity of what we did last year at COP28. This year, we are going to Baku to strengthen this message, looking at the NDCs, looking at this new period that the countries must present their new nationally determined contributions towards climate mitigation, with the expectation to keep the temperature rise below 2 degrees Celsius. And here is the fact that if we want to achieve this goal, sound waste management is crucial. Sound waste management and resource management, supporting the transition towards a circular economy, is crucial. According to a paper that I've been proud to have co-authored with Aditi, with Professor David Wilson, and with Johannes Pohl, that has been published recently at the Waste Management and Research Journal, the ISWA Scientific Journal, we reached the conclusion that it's very, very likely that the waste management, sound waste management, can contribute to up to 20-25% of the global, the total climate, global emissions. And we need to consider that from the emission side, the waste sector corresponds to only 4% of the total anthropogenic emissions. So it's really a low-hanging fruit to address adequate waste management, to address resources management, to prevent waste generation, to treat organics, to really use dry recyclables as secondary raw materials and substitute throughout the whole value chain in order to decarbonize other sectors, other industries. As I presented during the ISWA World Congress opening session this year, it's important, and I truly believe that we must evolve from the traditional 3Rs approach, reduce, reuse, and recycle, to a more ambitious and modern 3D approach to decouple waste generation from economic growth, to detoxify our current value chain, and decarbonize the whole sector, decarbonize the other sectors. Because waste management is a central piece for many other industries. And this is the type of message we are taking with us to COP29 this year, that if we want to succeed, if we want to progress, we must consider waste management as a key pillar, as a centerpiece, as a key partner in order to advance. So this is how we are looking forward to be present in Baku, but also together with our national members. And here I want to thank very much Kawes, our national member in China, and many others who endorsed the climate change declaration for this year. And together with them, we want to support national government, member states. We want to support the negotiators towards a more ambitious declaration in Baku that includes waste management as a key part of the climate mitigation agenda. So I think that this is something I wanted to share at this the beginning of my considerations, and looking forward to the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Carlos. That was a wonderful setup for all the work that we've been doing together for the last couple of years, and of course, the Waste and Resources Pavilion in COP28. I'm encouraging everybody that's joining the webinar today to come to our COP Pavilion in the Green Zone in COP29 in Baku. And Carlos, thank you so much. So I'm going to move on to, since you already started the discussion about technologies, you went into some details, you gave us some key figures. I want to now pivot to a little bit more technical discussion, and I start with Peter here. Because ISWA is highlighting this potential for technologies, innovative technologies for material recovery, whether it's organic waste management, plastic waste management, to mitigate climate change. And so here I might want to couple two questions together, where I want to ask you, what are some key technologies that you believe that can make a difference? And then recently, we produced the Global Waste Management Outlook 2024, and a big discussion emerged about what roles do final sinks play within the waste hierarchy? What is the role of energy from waste or waste to energy technologies, which is a broad term that describes energy recovery from waste? And where do you think it fits into the whole discussion as well? So considering the time, I kind of clubbed together a few things.
Yes, that's a very long question. Yes. So where do I start? I think that's I'll end up more or less a little bit on the innovative side, because I think that the main question, what can you do from a technical point of view to combat climate change? Yeah, the solution is more or less quite simple and not innovative at all. And that has to do with if we look at the landscape of waste produced worldwide, just also presented like in the Global Waste Management Outlook, we can see that there is a lot of waste that is not collected and is just simply dumped or so that is, of course, the first real problem. If you want to do something with waste, you have to collect it, and also you have to collect it in a proper way. I think we are now at worldwide 65% collection. I don't know if that's really accurate, but that means that 1/3 is not collected. So you have to start there. That's a quite simple solution, as it's not innovative at all. But this is the basis to do any treatment at all. And if you do collection, you should also immediately separate the organic waste from the recyclable waste. That's also not common. In the Netherlands, of course, this is already realized, but that gives you the base also to actually do something with the waste. The organics can go into the biological treatment, digestion, or composting. With digestion, you can produce energy. You can go to biofuels, biomethane, that sort of technologies, and composting. Then you keep the carbon in the soil more or less, so it won't turn into methane, which is a very huge contributor to the greenhouse gas emissions. And if you go there from other treatments like recycling and recycling technologies, we can do already a lot. The technology is already there. It's getting more and more advanced, especially in the developed countries. But still, there will be there is a remaining part that is not recyclable anymore, and there you have the possibility to turn that into energy by waste to energy plants. And in the end, you only have inert materials that should go to landfill in an ideal situation. You can say more or less that we are already there as I look from the Netherlands situation, but I realized and have seen, of course, worldwide that there are a lot of steps to be taken. I described more or less the waste hierarchy in a simple way. That is, of course, that, and you can see that, if you talk about technologies, if proper waste management, you don't choose one. That's what you see. Sorry, I lost my connection just a short. Am I still there?
You are. I thought I had lost it. Thankfully, it's not me.
Okay, yeah. And if you really talk about innovative technologies, what you can see is that there are a lot of developments ongoing. Not only on technology development in terms of, for example, gasification. These technologies are, I must say, there are already existing maybe 100 years, but now you can see that they can really play an active role in also increasing, more or less the recycling of materials. The best way to recycle is to, of course, take the material out and reuse it immediately again. But most of the times that's not possible, and thermal treatment is the only solution to get as much as energy out of it. But now you see that certain waste streams are also turned into via gasification into their original molecules, and these molecules are then used as a building block to produce also the new products. Especially plastics are are a good way to bring that or to make that circular. I saw also a question already about a little bit about artificial intelligence and that sort of things. I think if you want to have a discussion about artificial intelligence, AI, then you should start with a discussion about data, because it's self-learning and that sort of things. But data and waste management is quite it's not developed fully yet. There is a lot of missing data. That's also one of the reasons why waste management is not high on the agenda of, for example, a COP meeting, because there are simply a lot of missing data of how much waste is actually produced, where is it going, that sort of. And if you want to use technologies like AI to optimize, work with this data, steer the waste into the good treatment facility, that's crucial to make steps. So also one of the things is this should be on a higher level to actually to get most out of waste that there is. I think I stop here because I think also other speakers would be looking also at the clock.
Yeah, I think even a 3-hour session will be too less. I mean, I've seen a lot of questions being popped up on the Q&A chat box. So thank you, Peter, for answering my question comprehensively. But I'll quickly address a few of them here, and then we'll move on to a few more questions before we start wrapping up. We need to start wrapping up at some point. But I see a lot of questions from Arish, who's going to be at COP. So he's asking us, what are the strategies that we have, ISWA has in place to ensure that waste management is going to be a key focus in the climate negotiations. Arish, I'm hoping that all the interventions from Peter, Carlos, James, and Zhao have answered a few of your questions. For instance, let me see. Yes, how are we planning to drive more global collaboration and investments in sustainable waste management solutions in the lead up to COP29? Well, that's a very challenging question. That's only 3 weeks to go, but hopefully, because we're taking this long path to COP, ending in, well, one of the places we'll end up is in Belém next year in Brazil. So we're hoping that we can start a bigger collaboration on discussing these financial imperatives for funding waste management solutions. Then you've also asked about how are we going to build on the momentum and what themes or innovations can we expect to showcase this year? Well, we're going to be publishing our program piecemeal in the next few days. Basically, we have, as I mentioned before, we have sessions in the morning and the afternoon every day for the 2 weeks of COP, and we are inviting sponsors, we're inviting partners to come and develop those sessions either with us or lead some sessions with some contributions. And so if you want particular information, please reach out to me and the rest of the ISWA team that you see on the screen. You can reach out to any one of us and we can come back to you. And then I also see a question from Adriana from IASA. She's asking whether there are specific opportunities for consultations open for contributions to ISWA's COP29 declaration. As Peter mentioned, this declaration, as Carlos mentioned as well, this declaration is kind of a living document that we update every year. So this year we had consultations with our STC members, working group members, the board, the General Assembly, and the declaration, so-called declaration, is also finalized for COP29 already. But it will obviously be open for more discussions for the next one. And so if you want to contribute, you can please reach out for that as well. Very aware of time, I want to bring in Zhao once again. Zhao, if you can come in, because you did speak about capacity development. You talked about also engaging, doing awareness raising and so on. And also the fact that these declarations are so important for countries to take forward these kind of clear mandates to their negotiators or whoever. So in your opinion, What role can we, the resource and waste management sector, play in the practical implementation of these issues? Because there is, of course, there is theory on one side, which is all your published papers, all your reports and your white papers and so on. But then there is also the reality on the ground that face us, So what do you think? How can we practically implement these kind of findings that we are seeing in these global negotiations and so on?
Yeah, actually, I think you raise a very important question or issue. Maybe we need to further solve that, because it's currently, both the plastic treaty and also the climate change, this kind of the COP29 is coming beyond. And what is our true contribution? I think actually we need to show, at least to our national governments or the related stakeholders who really in charge of this kind of negotiation, to tell them what we have been achieved. So I think this is, maybe I can share with you a very interesting story, because currently I also involved in this kind of the discussion between the Global Methane Initiative, which is leading by US, and we have quite deep exchange between US and China on control the methane emission. And we share with them about the true development of the China for past 30 years, because we first from the uncontrolled landfill, maybe in the 1980s, and then we established the first sanitation landfill in the late 1980. And then after 30 to 40 years development, and currently we can achieve nearly 100% of the waste collection and also environment soundly treatment in China. So this is a very huge progress. And also this kind of the change from the sanitation landfill to the waste to energy facilities really contribute a lot for reduce the methane emission. And we can show them quite clear this kind of the data, how much waste has been collected and treated maybe previously in sanitation landfill, and currently which is in the this kind of the waste to energy facilities, and also the implementation of waste segregation. Currently, we have this kind of organic waste treatment plants. More than 100 plants has been built in China and produce the biogas, and also produce this kind of the digest or fertilizers to go back to the soil utilization. So when we really have this kind of the different developing phase, and also we have the quite well-organized data calculation to show them that we really can contribute to this kind of the greenhouse gas emission reduction. And also recently in China, basing on the mandatory requirements of the waste segregation, and we also emphasize more on the waste recycling, and it also for the construction and demolition waste, the recycling or utilization of this part of waste has also been promoted a lot. So for this part of the waste, when we have this kind, I totally agree with Peter about he just mentioned about this kind of a data collection, and also to really make this whole process transparent. And then we can have a very good story to tell to the audience that we really have achieved this kind of the influence. So I think this is very important. And also I totally with Peter about, he mentioned the first point is that we need to first have the waste collected. So the reason why we can really currently can have this kind of capacity, or we can have this kind of efforts to think more about like the waste reduction, waste prevention, of also from the waste management to the circular economy to further recycling. Actually, it's also because we have all this kind of the infrastructure there, and we know that all the waste they can have a place to go, either sanitation landfill or waste to energy. And then we have this kind of confidence that when we can moving forward to really to find some more solutions on that. And also another issue I think is I also always want to mention is that when we're talking about the waste and the resource management, actually still it's the problem about investment and the efficiency. Yeah, I think this is maybe the most important thing, and we still need to figure out who will pay for this kind of the money and what is the final output we want to achieve. So try to leverage more investment and to make this whole like the waste sector to a sustainable business is quite important. So the business model behind that, I think it can always support us to really achieve a better waste management, and also to achieve a better co-benefits of both the environment sides and also from the economic sides. So I think that's some maybe lessons from my side. Yeah.
Thanks, Xiao. You literally, that was going to be my last and final question, because yes, we talked about the education aspect of it, we talked the technological aspect of it, and then always we get stuck with this elephant in the room about who's going to finance it and so on and so forth. And so all the discussions we have is the people should be ready to pay for better waste management because it's a service that someone's providing and so on and so forth. But then when it comes to really big investments, where is that money going to come from? And so you started that discussion, and I wanted to now then, if you want to add some more points to that, otherwise I'm going to also ask Carlos and Peter the same thing, is because our declaration is calling for better financial support to waste-related solutions. And so what, in your opinion, what do you think the role should be of our body, like our association, and then the international climate finance institutions as well, to transforming the waste sector? And how can these stakeholders be involved together? What sort of dialogue should be put in place, and where are they most needed, and so on? So Zhao, if you want to still continue, or we can start with Carlos, Peter, and then you can end whichever way you like.
Yeah, maybe I will add one or two opinions, and then I think I will transfer the floor to Carlos and James. Actually, because from our side, we always have this kind of the feedback or voices that the EPR or this kind of the instrument are quite important. But from our side, because in China, we really have a quite strong, like the central government, and also for the local government, they just pay for this kind of service. So I always, when we're doing this discussion, we always want to emphasize maybe the final result is the most important. We need to treat this kind of the waste, and we need this kind of money. But then how to achieve it? Maybe we have diversified instruments. So we can have EPR, we can have the waste pay polluter pays principles, and also maybe we can cover by different kind of budget source. So then the finally one is that we need this kind of money, and we need to ensure efficiency. And it's for ensure the efficiency, maybe the market-oriented solutions will always be a better solution. So that's maybe some point I want to add. And thank you, Aditi, for your questions.
Thank you, Zhao. I please invite Carlos and Peter, and then we will end the webinar on time. Thank you, Carlos, please.
Thank you, Aditi. Yes, indeed, this question, this item of the funds and resources to support all these transition and the solutions needed is crucial. If I remember well, at the Global Waste Management Outlook 2024, we concluded that the direct costs of waste management at the global level is something around $250 billion per year. Out of this huge amount of money, we have 60% dedicated to logistics, dedicated to daily or committed to daily operations. These costs must be recovered through the users of the system. This is something that is not happening in the world quite well, and this is something that we really need to point out. If we desire to have an adequate waste management system in place, shifting from open dump sites, open burning, to more adequate systems, we need someone who pays for the daily services. This money won't come from the outside world. This money won't come from donor banks or other kind of like a development banks. This must come from the users. And as Xiao mentioned, we need to implement EPR schemes. We need to implement polluter pays principle, and in order to recover the cost. But the other side of this coin is, in addition to the direct cost of the $250 billion per year, we have the externalities cost, the indirect cost that are a burden to all the society because we still don't have an adequate system. And these indirect costs sum up to $240 billion per year, considering the current business as usual approach. So we have from one side $250 billion per year of direct costs, $240 billion per year of externalities costs. If we succeed to really move towards a better waste management system, and according to what we advocate from GWMO 2024, if we succeed to move towards a circular economy system, instead of a cost, we will have a full net gain of $108 billion per year. So it's kind of like to make the change happen, we need initial investments, we need daily operations costs, but when it's really functioning, we will get some income out of this sector. So this is what we need now to really engage with global leaders, to engage with stakeholders, to disseminate, to spread out this message. And here, you guys who are watching us today and like the recording of this video and this webinar, please spread out this message. We are wasting a lot of money, a huge amount of money. If we continue business as usual, we won't be able to afford the costs of waste management in the future. But if we change the system, not only we will reduce the cost, but we will also get many other benefits. And I will just highlight that one of the main benefits is to defeat the triple planetary crisis. We will reduce pollution, we will preserve biodiversity, and we will mitigate climate change. So we cannot look at this point only to this climate agenda. It's an overall and intertwined topics that waste management can do better, can bring better benefits to all the society. And this is the message we are taking with us, that global leaders must be aware, if we want to beat the triple planetary crisis and climate change is included in it, we must develop waste management at a lower cost, and this is possible. So I think that this is the core message we really need to spread out.
Thank you, Carlos. You kind of summed up the whole webinar. What job do I have now? No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much. That was really well put and succinct. I would like Peter to comment on this as well, and then we'll close the webinar. The discussion is not over. It's starting now. We hope to see you at COP29. But Peter, you have the last word, and then we'll close.
But I think that the last words of Carlos, yeah, I fully support that, of course. And the only thing I would like to say, because we can go in detail about finance, but we can talk for a week about that. But I think that our role of ISWA and also our role at COP, our role in the working group and all the other working groups within ISWA is that we also make this visible, showcase what is happening, bring in the facts on the table, and convince also the national member or the negotiating parties at COP that they realize, yeah, this is really an opportunity and not a threat. So I keep it at this.
Thank you.
I'm still thinking of all the good words of Carlos. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I really want to thank all the panelists. So James, Carlos, Peter, Zhao, thank you for taking the time and talking to our members today. And thank you, members, for joining us. This is a very important topic. As I said, we just have a few contact points online, but actually the dialogue should be happening all the time as well. So please reach out to our group, and we hope to see you at COP29 or some other location in the future. So do engage with us, and thank you so much for your time and attention today. Have a lovely rest of the day for you. Bye-bye.